What if I told you that just a few years from now, the world could be one decision away from a full-blown global missile war, and that decision might be made from a floating destroyer in the Pacific, a bunker in Russia, or a launch site in China? The year is 2030. Your joints ache a little more than they used to. The US Army is still trying to replace the aging M4 rifle. And right now, North Korea has just launched a barrage of ballistic missiles from the one destroyer they managed to get afloat. As tensions skyrocket, China sends hypersonic missiles screaming across the skies. Russia follows with a wave of intercontinental ballistic missiles soaring over the North Pole. In this terrifying scenario, what could possibly protect North America? The answer, according to President Trump and defense officials, is something known as the Golden Dome Missile Defense System. This massive futuristic shield is designed to detect, track, and intercept virtually any airborne threat before it can reach US or Canadian soil. And it's not science fiction, at least not entirely. This $175 billion project, which the president claims will be fully operational by the end of his term in 2029, has been likened by Space Force General Michael Gatling to the scale of the Manhattan Project. The announcement sent shockwaves through the defense world, sparking debate, criticism, and international concern. China quickly warned that the Golden Dome could launch a new arms race. But what exactly is this system, and what could it mean for the future of both America and Canada? Let's start by clearing up a common misconception. Despite the name, the Golden Dome isn't a giant golden umbrella covering the continent. It's an umbrella term, representing a vast, multi-layered missile defense ecosystem. Imagine this: radars on land and sea, sensors in space, artificial intelligence-powered command centers, and interceptors stationed not only across the globe, but also orbiting above it. Lockheed Martin, one of the primary contractors, because of course it is, says the system will be capable of detecting threats from launch to impact, no matter their origin. Ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, drones, hypersonics, everything is a target. And protection isn't limited to just the continental US. It extends to territories, allies, and potentially even to Canadian airspace. The Golden Dome builds upon existing missile defense infrastructure, including systems like the Ground-Based Midcourse Defense, GMD, THAAD, Patriot batteries, Aegis Ashore, and next-generation interceptors. These are all tied together through an advanced cloud-connected command system. The core goal: to detect launches instantly from anywhere on Earth and to intercept them during the boost phase, that critical window right after a missile is launched, when it's slowest and most vulnerable. The problem is, intercepting during this phase is incredibly difficult. It would require orbiting space-based interceptors, which don't currently exist. So if that fails, the plan moves to the mid-course phase, where interceptors based in Alaska or other strategic locations will try to hit the missile as it arcs through space. Finally, if all else fails, interception occurs in the terminal phase, just before impact. Let's take a closer look at the systems already in place, starting with the Aegis Ballistic Missile Defense System. This system has roots tracing back to the Cold War's Strategic Defense Initiative, also known as Star Wars, though not the movie version with smugglers and exploding planets. Originally designed to protect naval fleets, Aegis was eventually adapted for ballistic missile defense. Today, it's deployed both at sea and on land, using powerful radar systems like the Spy-1 and Spy-6 to track and engage incoming threats. The system uses SM-3 and SM-6 interceptors, SM-ASR 3S for mid-course ballistic missile intercepts, and SM-6S for cruise missiles or terminal ballistic threats. The SM-3 Block 2A, developed with Japan, is particularly impressive. It can intercept targets in space at speeds up to Mach 15 and ranges of over 2,500 kilometers. And it doesn't even explode to destroy its target. It smashes into it with sheer kinetic force. Aegis isn't theoretical. It has real-world results. In 2008, an SM-3 intercepted a satellite in low Earth orbit. More recently, in 2024, the system successfully destroyed a medium-range ballistic missile over Guam. It also played a key role in intercepting Houthi-launched drones and missiles over the Red Sea. Then there's THAAD, or Terminal High Altitude Area Defense. This system focuses on the last phase of a missile's flight, the final plunge. Developed by Lockheed Martin and operated by the U.S. Army, THAAD uses hit-to-kill interceptors traveling at speeds over Mach 8, with interception altitudes up to 150 kilometers. It's been successfully deployed in places like Guam, Israel, and South Korea. In 2017, THAAD intercepted a missile over Alaska. In 2022, it again proved its capability in a layered defense test involving multiple systems. Its radar system can detect threats over 1,000 kilometers away, and with an alleged 90% success rate in live-fire tests, THAAD is a cornerstone of terminal missile defense. Complementing THAAD is the Patriot missile system, a name familiar from the Gulf War era. The Patriot system has evolved considerably since then, with its PAC-3 variant designed specifically to intercept ballistic and cruise missiles. While its real-world performance in the Gulf War was later questioned, today's Patriot system has intercepted advanced threats in Ukraine, Saudi Arabia, and Israel. The PAC-3 uses hit-to-kill tech and has a range of up to 160 kilometers against aircraft and about 35 kilometers for ballistic missiles. While it can be overwhelmed in high-saturation attacks, its mobility and automation ensure it remains a vital final line of defense. Aircraft also play a role in the Golden Dome's architecture. Platforms like the F-35 are equipped with powerful radars and electronic warfare systems that allow them to detect missile launches and relay data in real time to other defense assets. Future versions of these aircraft may even act as launch platforms for airborne interceptors. While the mid-course and terminal phases are fairly well covered by these systems, the boost phase remains the most problematic. Intercepting a missile during its boost phase requires space-based platforms that can respond within seconds. And while the concept has been around since Reagan's Star Wars initiative, it's never been fully realized. The reason boost phase interception is so valuable is that missiles are most vulnerable during this time. They move slower, emit massive heat signatures, and all their decoys are still packed together. Hitting them early means neutralizing the entire threat in one shot. But doing this would require hundreds or thousands of satellites, all equipped with high-speed kill vehicles or even directed energy weapons. Yes, satellites with freaking laser beams. And these interceptors would need to detect launches from across the globe, calculate trajectories instantly, and engage targets moving at Mach 20 within a tiny time window. To support that, the U.S. is developing the Hypersonic and Ballistic Tracking Space Sensor, HBTSS, and partnering with the Space Force and Space Development Agency to launch infrared tracking satellites into polar and equatorial orbits. These would provide 360-degree real-time coverage. But the challenges remain enormous: technological, financial, and geopolitical. Experts warn that even if the Golden Dome is built, it will constantly need updates and maintenance. Satellites in low Earth orbit degrade quickly, and space debris, including that created by Russia's own anti-satellite missile test, poses serious risks. With Russia and China both conducting anti-satellite operations, the security of space-based interceptors becomes a growing concern. The cost is staggering. At $175 billion, the Golden Dome would surpass the inflation-adjusted cost of the Manhattan Project and nearly match that of the International Space Station, and many believe that's a lowball figure. The Congressional Budget Office estimates the system could cost between $500 billion and $900 billion over 20 years, requiring at least double the current Missile Defense Agency's annual budget. Critics also argue that all this high-tech defense could be rendered useless by jamming, spoofing, or targeted space attacks. Others worry about escalating the global arms race. After all, every time the US builds a better shield, adversaries work to build sharper swords. China has already warned that the Golden Dome could turn space into a battlefield, and the tit-for-tat cycle of escalation has already begun. But here's the key point. Even if the Golden Dome fails to fully deliver on its promises, the research and development involved will push defense technology far beyond where it is today. As with the Manhattan Project or the moon landing, the ripple effects in science, engineering, and policy will be massive. The project forces us to ask fundamental questions. Can any shield ever be perfect? Will spending billions actually make us safer? Or are we just building a high-tech illusion? The Golden Dome represents the most ambitious defense plan ever proposed. For Americans and Canadians too, it could mean a future where shared airspace is defended by a global net of satellites, radars, and interceptors. Or it could mean entering a new era of high-tech arms races with space as the final frontier. What's clear is that this project will shape the future of North American defense for decades to come.